Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmidam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. So this is like Naimasaranya, because you've all been here already for a couple hours, and now you're ready for more. This is the process for purifying the consciousness, hearing about Krishna. And those who develop a taste for it experience after some time that they don't want to be without it. They always want to have the transcendental vibration. Because within that state of consciousness where the modes of material nature are cleared, this is called Vishuddha Sattva, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. This is revealed by Lord Shiva in his discussion with his wife, Sati. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. He says, Iyate, that within the consciousness where there's no modes of material nature affecting the consciousness, one naturally Vasudeva is revealed. One sees Krishna. And Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the person who comes to this stage of consciousness, Vasudeva consciousness, is Vasudeva consciousness, sees Vasudeva everywhere. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. That devotee realizes that Vasudeva is everything. And the living entity actually has nothing to do with the material world, says the Shastra. Asango Hyayam Purushaha. The Purusha, the actual conscious living being, only is related to the material nature by attachment. The only thing we have in common with the material world is our attachment. And this is, when we take away all those attachments, then we die. So you can die before you actually leave your body. How? Look at Arjuna and Kurukshetra when Krishna drove him between the two armies and said, here, take a look. Arjuna said, sure, fine. And then when he looked and he said, I have to kill my family members, then how will I live? What is the use of living after that? This is the death of the ego, because I'm invested in the material world according to my attachments. I'm attached to my family members and to my possessions, and I think they're mine, and therefore I live for them. That's what I live for. And if they're all taken away suddenly, then practically I die. Internally I die, because my attachments have been taken away from me. So we die to live. One must die to the attachments, kill the attachments, and transfer them to Vasudeva. That requires purification. Naturally, we're attached because we're not dead stones. We have attachment, and real attachment, very deep attachment, because we're sentient. That means we feel. So, through the process of hearing transcendental sound, anavritti shabdat, it means that we can attain the perfection of life, and we don't come back. Hare Krishna, from that position. So, a symptom of one who is developing this spiritual consciousness, Vasudeva consciousness, the Vasudeva platform of consciousness, is to become a giver rather than a taker. There are two flows in this material world. And one is the flow of giving, and the other one is the flow of taking. The material world is the world of exploitation. We hear hastani sahastanam apadani chatuspadam balguni tatra mahatam jivo jivasya jivanam. There's a way that one living entity is looking to eat another. It seems barbaric, doesn't it? But if you watch fish sometimes on the barrier reef or on the reef in Belize, you get a little snorkel mask and you can just float on top of the water and look down and watch all the fish a few feet below who live their lives down there. They're all looking how to eat each other. It seems like a kind of a barbaric situation. And this is the nature of the material world. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One living entity is food for another. I advance at the expense of someone else. It's exploitation. I'm exploiting. And this is symptomatic of the material consciousness. I'm always looking how to take advantage of someone else for my own benefit. This is the taking mentality. But in Vasudeva consciousness, I become a giver. This is practically inexplicable in the material world, how someone would want to give with no expectation of return. In fact, we see, even in society, when there's a great giver, Mother Teresa is an example. She's very famous because people perceive that, well, why are you doing this? Why would you do this? How much are you making? What are you getting out of this? Nothing. I just want to do some service for somebody else. Then it boggles the mind practically. You get a place on a magazine and a place in history because you were a giver rather than a taker. This is, I'm saying, giving general an example that it's something outside the normal activities of people in the world. Everyone has some vested interest that I need it for myself. But as one gives up a vested interest in the material world, in other words, one must realize through Vasudeva consciousness, there's nothing in the material world for me, so you can't pay me off. There's nothing I need here. This is the only way in which one can become a true giver, where one doesn't have any stake in the material world. Otherwise, I always have that slight attachment that I need this for myself. I need this to maintain my body. Jivo jivasya jivanam. I need you to live. But when one realizes that I live independent of the material nature, I exist in I eternally exist. That it's not dependent on the material nature at all, and I have nothing to do with it. Then that person can't be bought and sold. And in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 25th verse, Krishna says, Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha. When a person comes to the perfection of consciousness, can you have a look at that verse? This is 525. Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha means, hite means to do good for others. Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha. What is that verse? Could you read it, please? Srivas.
Labante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayakshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaida Yatatmanaha Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha.
And the translation?
Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living entities, and who are free from all sins, achieve the liberation in the Supreme.
Yeah, this is a symptom of someone who's situated transcendentally. Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha. They're always working for the benefit of all living beings. And, of course, one must know what is the real benefit of living beings. In the Nectar of Devotion, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami describes what auspiciousness means, because there are 6 symptoms of pure devotional service. The first is that it immediately puts one in transcendental pleasure, because there are different. Well, I should say the first is that I'm removed from all distress. All my distress is removed, because distress comes from sinful reactions. Because I've acted sinfully, the reactions are coming to me. But when one surrenders in devotional service, then one's freed from those reactions. And the second is that pure devotional service immediately puts one in auspiciousness. And this auspiciousness means that one knows how to do good for all living beings. One knows how to be a giver. And also, Rupa Goswami says that somebody who's situated in this auspiciousness is affectionate to all living beings, and they also become attractive to all living beings. Why? Because don't you want someone around who's a giver? If someone is a taker, do you want them hanging around? You can't wait till they leave. When somebody's a giver, however, everyone senses it, and they want that person around. There's no friction from that person because their mentality is service. They're doing service for others, and they're always thinking how to give. This is the consciousness of a person situated in auspiciousness because they're on the path of pure devotional service. And so they become attractive, and they also become affectionate towards all living entities. Yeah, you look at, no conferences, just kidding. So there's two words, and if you grab the dictionary, it would be really interesting to look at them. Some expert literary person, like Srivas, grab the dictionary, and you look up the word affection, affect, affect, and effect. So there's two words. They're very similar, affect and effect. One starts with an A, the other one starts with an E. And to be affected or to cause an effect, you can just see what the difference is in these two. But affection means, in terms of the devotee, the advancing devotee, that he or she sees the kinship of all living entities and also sees that everything is within Krishna and that all energies come from Krishna, and therefore is always concerned about the welfare of others and is concerned about being a good steward of Krishna's energies as well. Doesn't waste Krishna's energies. It doesn't try to exploit Krishna's energies. Doesn't try to, and that includes other living beings. And actually feels compassion for other living beings. A giver means that they feel somebody feels compassion. Sometimes people wonder, atheists might wonder, what is the benefit of worshiping God? What is the benefit of all this chanting and meditation and so forth? And we see practically what is the benefit? Someone develops affection for all living entities. Someone actually develops love for God, and that includes all of God's energies, and becomes a well-wisher and develops true compassion. Only a person who sees that there's a commonality of all living entities, they have a common source, can have real compassion for others, and who understand that the living entity is meant to be situated in transcendence and not afflicted by the three modes of material nature. That person can have compassion. Srivas Prabhu, did you see the difference between the two?
Yes, Prabhu. Affect. The first meaning is to stimulate, to simulate, or imitate in order to make some desired impression, assume feign. The second, to display a preference for.
To display a preference for.
Yeah.
Affect?
Affect.
A-F-E-C-T.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one is to imitate or copy. And this comes from Latin, affectare, to strive after.
To strive after. Okay, now how about effect?
Effect. First meaning, something brought about by a cause or agent, result. Second, the way in which something acts upon or influences an object. For example, the effect of a drug on the nervous system. Third, the power or capacity to achieve the desired result or influence. Fourth, the condition of being in full force or execution goes into effect tomorrow.
Okay. That's good. I was just telling him. Read affect again.
Affect, the first one is to simulate or imitate in order to make some desired impression, to display a preference for. Third is to display a preference for, to fancy, love, to tend to by nature, to tend to assume. Third is to imitate or copy.
Does it have affected?
Yes, Prabhuji. Affected is acted upon, influenced or changed. 2, emotionally stirred or moved. Third,
Emotionally stirred or moved. Okay. And what else?
Third is infected or attacked as by a disease.
Okay. There's a sense of being affected and that I'm looking for, that one becomes emotionally stirred or affected. So one who is situated in auspiciousness is affected in the sense that he or she becomes compassionate towards other living beings and works for their welfare. There are other symptoms of pure devotional service, but I just wanted to mention those. And that a person in Vasudeva consciousness, realizing Vasudeva Sarvamiti, then also sees that Krishna is the source of everything, and he's also the root. And this is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that by giving to Krishna, who's the root of all creation, then automatically the demigods are satisfied, and similarly other living entities are as well. And this is important because in the mentality of exploitation, I think that only by getting for myself will I become satisfied. As much as I can exploit from others, that brings me my fortune in life. But a devotee sees that my real fortune comes in how much I can give to Krishna. So I have the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 14th chapter, and Shukadeva Goswami reveals near the end of the 14th chapter an important point, that is that the living entity is attached to his or her body and possessions only because he or she is related to them. In other words, I like my body because I'm in it. As soon as I'm not in my body, or as soon as part of my body is separated from it, I no longer like it anymore. So we're attached to things. Like people look on Facebook because they get to see themselves. Right? They look in and they say, where am I in all this? I want to see myself. Like a little parakeet. If you put a mirror in the cage of a parakeet, they'll sit there all day long going, whirr. And so the living entity in the material world is, Prabhupada once saw a bird who was pecking at his own reflection in a mirror, and he said, this is like Maya. He sees some other reflection, and there's a reflected sense of myself because I'm in my body, and therefore I think I am my body, and therefore I think my body's important. As soon as I'm not in my body, I don't think it's important anymore, and neither does anybody else. But just, actually, they do think it's important, but only because you were in it for some time. So we'll bury the body and put up a little signpost and say, such and such used to be in this body, therefore it's important. But we love the soul so much that if it was in the body, or if it's in the body, we'll do everything to take care of that living entity. But as soon as the soul is gone from the body, then the body is dispendable. It can be discarded immediately. And so Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out here in this section of the 10th canto, 14th chapter, that the sons of the cowherd men and women, when they were expansions of Krishna, became more attractive, many more times attractive. to them than their own sons and daughters. So their own sons, I should say. So then Parikshit Maharaj wanted to know why. Why were they so much more attractive? And so in this there's a secret. And Shukadeva Goswami says, for every created being, the dearmost thing is certainly his own self. The dearness of everything else, children, wealth, and so on, is due only to the dearness of the self. And then he reveals that Krishna is Atmanam Akilatmanam. He's actually the self of myself. He's the source of myself. So if I'm this much attracted to myself in a perverted way because it's reflected in the body, what about the very the soul of my soul? If the soul is dear to me, if my soul is dear, then how about the soul of my soul? The very source of my soul. How much dear is Krishna to every living entity? So imagine how absorbed I am in myself. And now think, if I transfer that and I understand that actually there's a soul of my soul, there's a self of myself, source, the root cause of myself, how much I should be attracted. So this is key in understanding. Atmanam Akilatmanam. Krishna is the soul of all souls. Now, if I'm collecting for myself, I'm interested in giving to myself, selfishness. But I actually understand that Krishna is the real self, and I give to him. Then Prahlad Maharaj says something very important, and this is in the 7th canto, 9th chapter, that a person who gives something to Krishna doesn't do it because Krishna needs anything, because Krishna is Nijalabha Purno. He's complete in himself. In the Sri Upanishad, it is stated, Om Purnam Adah Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. A lot of Purnams in there. It means he's complete, 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 complete. No matter what happens, he's complete. And when he gives, he's complete. All the things that he creates are complete. He's the complete whole. And Prabhupada points out in the purport that because we're persons, he's also a person, because we can't be created from something that's has less qualities than ourselves, has fewer qualities than ourselves. Now, that means, that's very exciting news. There's actually a complete person who's the source of everything. The soul of our soul is actually a person. And it turns out that he's all attractive. All attractive. Everything about him is endlessly, eternally fascinating. The jewelry he wears, you can be endlessly fascinated. In the process of deity worship, there's idam abharanam. You're offering the jewelry to the Lord at a certain point. That means he can wear this jewelry. But in the Srimad Bhagavatams, Shukadeva Goswami says that the ornament of the jewelry is Krishna. In other words, when Krishna wears the jewelry, he makes the jewelry look good. Like sometimes there are movie stars and they ask him, here, wear this for us because it's a piece of junk, but you'll make it look good. They put on a torn T-shirt and they go, wow, that looks good. Well, that's because it's, Tom Cruise or whatever. So it's attractive. But there's this idea that Krishna, anything he wears, it ornaments that thing because he's so attractive. His body's attractive. His effulgence is attractive. His personality, all his qualities are attractive. They attract the mind. And he's Purnam. He has all these qualities completely in full. And there are other manifestations of the Lord, like Lord Narayan, and he is also attractive. He has many attractive features. Transcendental body, all the universes emanate from him. And however, Krishna has 4 qualities that nobody else has. And they're all sweet. They all mean sweetness. And that is his sweet pastimes with his devotees, the sweet playing of his flute, the sweet beauty of his body, and what's the fourth one? And the way he attracts the devotees. So Krishna is Purnam, completely complete, with all qualities and more than anybody else. So now, flute playing, I said. So the flute, the all attractive pastimes, his beauty, his exceptional beauty.
And his Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Guna Madhurya, and Nila Madhurya.
Okay, Rupa, Guna, Venu,
Leela.
and Lila. So the pastimes, the qualities,
Guna means
characteristics,
and Rupa, form.
and the form. Yeah.
You covered all of them.
Okay, we got it. So now you have this, the source of everything, who has all these qualities, Krishna, who's the soul of our soul. We're connected to him. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manak shastan indriyani prakriti stani karshiti. We have, we're eternally part and parcel of Krishna. We have an eternal kinship with the Lord. So now Prahlad Maharaj, in his prayers to Lord Nrsingadev, says, that when someone offers something to Krishna, it's not for Krishna's benefit. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So that means that when a devotee turns his or her attention towards Krishna, understands, here's the soul of my soul, and that my highest interest in life is giving everything to Krishna, to surrendering to Krishna, serving Krishna, that devotee becomes utterly attracted to Krishna and gives everything to Krishna. Doesn't consider that I have a vested interest in the material world, sees that all living entities are Krishna's dear parts and parcels, and therefore does everything possible to give to those living entities the highest benefit, situated in auspiciousness, tries to help them in every way, and sees all energies in the world as Krishna's energies. And the devotee doesn't try to enjoy them, because he realizes that Krishna is the enjoyer, and he also doesn't renounce them, because they're not his to renounce. He has nothing to give up, because he doesn't belong. They don't belong to him. They belong to Krishna. So what's left? Dedication and giving. Dedication means a life of giving. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur then says, Jeev Krishna Das e Bishwas Korletor Ardhuko Nai. If you live by this principle of giving to Krishna, you realize I'm a servant of Krishna, then for you, no more unhappiness, no more dukh. You'll be completely satisfied always. So this is the flow of giving. It comes by understanding who we are. And there may be givers who are philanthropists, who have a spirit of giving. Some people have this spirit, but and this is good. This is an indication of advancement. But until the giving is completely informed by knowing one's relationship with Krishna and where to give so that everyone becomes satisfied, then that giving is incomplete. And until one actually becomes purified in consciousness and realizes that my real interest in life is to give to Krishna, then he or she will hold something back and want something for him or herself from this material world. That's my postulation for this afternoon. And now we'll take comments, questions, or reflections? But Vaisesika. Yes, Trishab.
Prabhu, you were mentioning about atheists, so one point came to my mind that recently you gave us CDs of Sada Buddha Prabhu and about scientific preaching. So I was discussing with one devotee, one friend of mine about ISKCON, and a person overheard us talking about ISKCON, and he was the kind of scientific atheist kind of person. So because of that CD, we were able to like counter him. So I just wanted to say.
You were able to what?
Like, give counter argument.
You were able to accommodate him. That's important. If you have a question, comment, or reflection, and you want to text in, the number is 650-245-7018. That's 650-245-7018. The lines are now open, and operators are standing by to take your calls. So you said that you met an atheist, and he was making some arguments, and you were able to counter those arguments because you had heard Sariputta Prabhu talking about the basic arguments against atheism. Okay.
You were given the CD, so out of that.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was very
okay. Yeah, and also, just for your information, we have two of our top scientists at ISV. That is Vrindavan Priya and Hari Guru Prabhu, working on a scientific presentation of Krishna consciousness, which they will present within the next couple of weeks. This is based on much of the research of Sariputta Prabhu, and of course, Vrindavan Priya and Hari Guru Prabhu are very brilliant in themselves, and they're also devotees. So they're going to bring out a whole course about how to preach scientifically. Because it's important to know, because oftentimes people will ask questions about, what is it with you guys and talking snakes and, the moon is farther away than the sun. Explain yourselves. And we can't just, say, that's not so important. I mean, you can say that, but ultimately, to be successful on the world stage, we have to have a comprehensive answer. And Sariputta has that. And some of the devotees who specialize in those things have ways to understand them. Not only are they good just for helping other people understand, but there's a way in which, because of modern education, we become indoctrinated in a certain way. And even if you don't know it, you may have some doubt or reservation about Krishna consciousness based on things that ways that you previously understood how the universe works, who we are, and so forth. So about giving, the flow of giving, or anything that we've talked about so far. Yes, Gandharvika. Here comes the microphone. It's on its way.
So Prabhuji, when thinking about giving, it's very difficult in the beginning stages even to think about giving, because in the material world we always look for appreciation or profit, adoration and distinction. And when we become devotees, also the same aspirations carry on. So even if I want to give, I give maybe the few things that I think I can give, but not the key things that I really will make them more distinct than myself. So how does one cross that and also give everything selflessly? What is that we should do if we want to go to that level?
You may not have to do anything. You may have to wait for something to be done to you. Disgust and abject frustration are the thresholds upon which we often realize the futility of taking. Because when Krishna takes away everything, of course, Prabhupada used to say, his father would say, When Krishna gives, he gives with 10 hands. Now don't slam the door. When Krishna gives, he gives with 10 hands, and when he takes away with 10 hands. What can you do? And those who are practicing Krishna consciousness and then have this feeling, well, how will I ever give everything? How will I give the things that are most dear to me that I secretly hide because I know that if I bring them out, then I'll have to give them? Then when that time comes in your life, and it will, of abject frustration or disgust, then there's a way you can look into that chasm and realize that I'm still okay. You can get realization from that. And great discoveries come only unto the prepared mind. Those who are preparing themselves through incremental improvements in Krishna consciousness, giving incrementally to Krishna, when the bigger tests come, they're fortified for it. And they take it as an opportunity. At first, it may be traumatic. It will be traumatic. You will be morose. But in that is medicine. And you can take that medicine and then realize for yourself that, okay, now Krishna's given me an opportunity. Even Parikshit Maharaj, who's the examiner, he spent his whole life looking for Krishna. And then when the great news came, he got a phone call, and they said, there's a curse on you. It's just like somebody says, there's a hit out on you. You're going down. The mob's after you. They're going to get you. You're going to die in 7 days. You'll change your schedule a little bit. You'll change your outlook on life as well. And it's a matter of perspective, because I think I'm not going to die. I think I'm okay. I think I'm protected. I think that my body's going to take care of it. I'm healthy. I'm taking a vitamin. This should be fine. But it'll come. And Krishna often gives warnings. And we see for Parikshit Maharaj, after he got that phone call, he said, Krishna, this is you. You're calling me. This is you because I was too attached to family life, and now you're calling me out for the real thing. This is the real thing, and now I'm ready. And he was able to take full advantage. The Avanti Brahmin is famous for his abject frustration and then disgust with the material world. And this is described as a benediction, that he lost everything. It was taken away from him. But something grew in his heart, this feeling that, what do I need it for anyway? I'm just part of God. And he wandered off to take full shelter. And then there is the case of Pingala, who was a prostitute. And to do business as a prostitute or any other kind of business, you really have to be up for it. Busyness means busyness. Business means busyness. You got to stay busy. And it means you have got to be motivated, right? You have to be thinking, I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to learn all the latest technologies and everything to really get this done. And Pingala was always thinking like that too, how to get the best advantage. Were you going to make a point, Shraddha? Yeah. What happened? We lose a microphone somewhere? There must be two out there. Okay.
So Maharaj, in the Bhakti Shastri classes before yours, we were talking about Krishna says that you put your attention on me, and if you cannot do that, then work for me. And if you cannot do that, then give up the results of your work to me. And I was reminded of a saying which is that you can give without loving. You can still give to Krishna without loving Krishna, but you cannot love Krishna without giving something to him. You cannot, love anyone without giving something to them.
You can give without loving, but you can't love without giving.
And the second thing which I wanted to know your thoughts on is that on the other side of giving is receiving, and they also say that you should also, when somebody is giving you a gift, you should also allow them to give it to you. I mean, sometimes some people put a big resistance, and no matter how much love or gifts or you want to give them, they just don't take it because they are not, They just don't want to receive it. So
So
what are
what's
your
the
thoughts?
question?
So your thoughts on that, that situation?
My thoughts on it? It's true. Sometimes it's hard for people to take, and they'll resist. But there's a point at which, pardon?
Why would they do that? I mean, it's for free. Somebody's giving it to you.
Well, it could be for a lot of reasons, but one reason sometimes is that, when you actually take something, there's there's an obligation. You can feel an obligation.
Prabhuji, it reminds me yesterday, Hitendra Prabhu, myself, Malini Mataji knock one door and we are talking and we are giving. And we don't know that we spoke with him for a long time, and he said, as soon as I asked for donation, he said, you came in a wrong time, my car is stolen. So we need to see the circumstance, and devotee Hidendra Prabhu said, we'll pray for you, your car will come back. And I told him, you gave with your stolen heart, we'll take money, whatever he can. But the thing is, last week somebody bought the car and they done puja and they took a CC set. And we need to see the people, their mood and their consciousness. Means, is they are in mood to give something or take something? Instead of we are representing all our things, we need to ask, is there any, how to get rid of those things? When you go
If I understand you correctly, you have to observe each person and see what's the best way to give, what they can actually accept at the time. That's a nice point, because giving is an art also. How to give to people so they'll accept it. We were talking about that in class on yesterday. Just how sometimes people will go to give transcendental knowledge and they insist that people take it without understanding how to give it to them. Sometimes they do it by force and so forth. Sometimes, there can be a sense of a false ego, I don't deserve it, when somebody tries to give, that I don't deserve it. And there's a kind of obligation, and there's a way in which it's an exchange of love to give and take. And oftentimes, it's a kind of intimacy. If someone offers you something and then you take it, there's an obligation, but there's also kind of you're making yourself vulnerable when you accept things from people. That you're sort of controlled by them also. Controlled by love. If it's given with no, there's no strings attached really. That's why it's easier just to buy things. I don't have to deal with anybody. I just bought it, it was a straight deal, right? We're even, right? But if people give you something out of love, then you're like, what do I do with this? Now I have to be open and intimate and vulnerable. That's the Dadati Pratigranati. When Rupa Goswami talks about this art of giving and taking, and that it's an exchange of love between devotees, that's love. And a lot of people, their hearts are kind of closed. They don't want to love. That's our disease in the material world. The heart becomes hard, and it's difficult to take anything. I don't want to take any love. So that means I have to open up and expose myself. Give something back. I think there's some of that in it. Yeah, and it's hard when people don't take. I remember one door I went to when we go doing book packs. I forget what kind of practice these people were doing, but they were very much concerned that to have the scripture in their house. Were you with me that day? Yeah, it was funny. I actually, for some reason, I almost forced him to take it. I think they said, we'll give you the money, but we won't take the book, right? You were there too?
No, I have had a similar situation.
So, yeah, they'll sell, but I don't want it in the house. And somehow I was insisting. And you know what happened? They sent it back in the mail. I recognized it. It came back a week later in the mail. It said, here's a package for you. And they sent the book back. They couldn't take it. They couldn't have it in the house. And so it's not automatic just because you're giving something for free. And that's one of the reasons that we often ask for something in return. It's kind of an exchange And it makes people feel qualified to actually keep it. That I gave something, I'm going to keep it. What other things? About a life of giving or taking? Yes?
Yeah, and one of the point you were saying that the source of all our souls.
Yeah.
And then you are realizing that it's not just your souls, every other living entity, the source is the same thing.
Yeah.
I have an experience this 2 years ago, and it came to my mind today. This is after a book distribution. We are coming, and I am giving a ride for another devotee. And on the way, we saw that in the walkway, some of the people walking with the dog. And the devotee's instant reaction was, look, they are all loving dog. They're going to be dog in next life. And, and I was instantly thinking, because they love the dog, if they're going to be a dog, imagine you are hating they love the dog. What kind of life are you going to get it? I mean, that's a serious thing, because there is some kind of syndrome, perfection of that syndrome we have, that we are okay, but other livings are not okay.
Yeah, there are a couple levels that. Can I respond? A couple levels there. One is, we may hear from a spiritual master, don't be attached to dogs. This is, lower consciousness and so forth. And it's a sort of it's a reasonable warning, because there is a way in which the way we associate ourselves in this world and the where we place our affection is going to affect our consciousness and our destination and the outcome of our life. So that's reasonable. And what you're saying is also reasonable, because there's a way that we may, in an immature way, try to imitate that and have disgust for all kinds of people, and not appreciate the various levels of advancement they're at, and think in a giving way how to help them actually, but simply write them off. And this happens in all kinds of philosophical processes that people feel superior and then they condescend. And we stress this, for going out to preach and distribute books, don't assume a condescending attitude and have just utter disgust for everyone because, you love dogs, you're going to hell. This kind of relation with people, it shows, and it repulses people ultimately. Whereas in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that an advanced yogi has empathy, compassion. Atmaupamyena sarvatra. He relates to other living beings according to the experiences he's been through, and he also sees that I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. I'm exposed to the same kinds of things, and therefore he has compassion. It's a higher level. Giving from that frame of consciousness is a higher level. Dogs, actually, and there's a way that we can appreciate dogs. What are the good qualities of a dog? Faithful. Faithful. Yeah, they're loyal. Yeah, we have the example of Shivananda saying the Antya Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very esoteric writing. It goes into the deepest stages of love for God that have ever been exposed to the human world. I mean, Kaviraj Goswami talks about some of the symptoms of love of God that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed, and he said, you won't hear about these in the Shastra. He said it's beyond anything anybody's heard about. It's beyond. I mean, there are symptoms of love of God, but what Mahaprabhu, the kind of symptoms he showed, were unbelievable. And the complete absorption he had in Krishna was unimaginable. And the whole Antya Leela starts with the story of Shivananda saying, taking in a dog into the party of devotees who are traveling to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what was the qualification of that living entity? He was just a simple dog. But you notice sometimes, like when we were on our parikram, we were going to the house. Where were we going on the way to the Ganga? Huh? Nandanacharya's house. We started from the Vaishnava Academy, and we had about a mile to walk to Nandanacharya's house. And right at the beginning of the walk, a dog joined the Sankirtan party. And he joined in, and he kept looking up at us, and he would stay right in the middle. And he came with us all the way down to the Ganga. And it was endearing, actually, because he's just a simple living entity. He can't boast any high position in life, or, he's not even a Shudra. He's just a low dog. But he has he had this submissiveness and a sort of a loyalty, like, I'm with you guys. This is kind of one of the lessons, how to actually go back to Godhead, is become the dog of a Vaishnava. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Find out what dogs do. They become loyal to somebody. They attach, and they say, I'm not giving up. I'm with you. I have no qualification, but I'm with you. And the Vaishnavas like, all right, come on. He's with us. What a lesson from Shivananda saying that if you go submissively, you have no qualification. You're not even in the human species, but you go there submissively and you say, I'm with you. I'm just with you. That's all. That's my only qualification. Therefore, Gopijana Ballabha Prabhu used to say, it's not what you know, it's who you know and what you are. So you have to be submissive and humble, and you have to know somebody. Find out somebody who's great, and then say, I'm with him. I don't care what happens, I'm just sticking with him. And then you're okay. This is Vaishnavism. That's our philosophy. Das, 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 anudasa. I have no qualification, but I'm the servant of somebody who does have the qualification. Then you're in. So it's a good lesson. The dog. So we can also appreciate, at the same time we see the science of association and we understand what to do and what not to do, we should also see the connection and appreciate living entities for who they are and what they have to offer. Everyone has some lesson to teach us. That's the brilliance of the Avaduta Brahman, who lived in the wilderness and was an elevated soul. And Maharaj Yadu asked him, how did you become so advanced? And he said, I take lessons from all these different gurus, meaning that all the aspects of nature around him and different living entities, he sees something in them that would teach him. And Prabhupada says, when one's intelligence becomes purified, then the intelligence becomes the Shiksha Guru. Your intelligence becomes your Shiksha Guru. This is real Buddha yoga. When your intelligence is contaminated by the lower modes of material nature, it tries to figure out all kinds of combinations of ways that you can be happy here in the material world. It's endlessly combining everything together. You got lemon, you got lime, now you got lemon lime. Now let's put it in fizzy water and add sugar. I mean, there's unlimited ways to try to mix up the modes of material nature and try to find some satisfactory thing. There are 3 modes. You mix 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. And you just keep going, and you get unlimited, practically, combinations and permutations of ways that you try to enjoy the material nature when it's contaminated. So Lord Rishabhadeva says that this contaminated consciousness is the cause of my next birth. It becomes colored by the mode. So in order to have the intelligence guide me properly, I have to purify the intelligence. And in the verse I mentioned earlier, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam, spoken by Lord Shiva, he says that, Prabhupada says, that the way to purify the intelligence is by constant hearing and chanting. Don't let anything else in. Don't expose yourself to the lower sounds. It doesn't mean you can't do your work. It doesn't mean you can't go to your job. But you don't let it in. You do it officially. You say, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, sir, all right with me, sir. But you don't take it in. Whereas with transcendental sound, you're wide open. This is called Upanishad. The Upanishad means I'm wide open, I'm totally ready, I want to come closer. I want to get closer to this sound, I want it to go in me, I want it to have an effect. In fact, we can pray like that. As soon as you wake up in the morning, say, I'm ready for another day of surrender and of taking in this transcendental sound that will bring me closer to you, Krishna. And if you'll just give me that opportunity, I'll take full advantage of it. And I'll use my intelligence, whatever intelligence you can supply me, I'll use it completely in your service. Then you can have a successful day. And you can also learn from the work that you have to do, that you're obligated to do. You'll see it in terms of the modes of material nature and how they're affecting me or how they're affecting other people and what am I doing in the material world anyway. And if you simply isolate yourself in a cave without enough purification, then you'll simply think about going back to your work anyway. So it's okay. You have to stay situated where you are and at the same time purify. And the combination of hearing the transcendental sound and observing for yourself how the different energies of the Lord work has a profound effect. I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. Vidyam cha yas tad vedo bayam saha avidyayam ratum tirtva vidyayam ratum ashnute. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. So the theme of this class is about giving. There's a flow of giving, and Krishna encourages us in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga, Krishna talks about how there's a way that when you give through yajna, that becomes your focus in life, how to give to the Supreme Lord. Then you get everything you need. Everything happens nicely and automatically by your concentrating on giving. And in fact, in preaching, like say if you're going to set up a fundraising program and you're trying to build your nonprofit organization, according to experts, the best way to do that is to figure out how to be a giver. You, instead of thinking, how am I going to get money from people, you start thinking, what can I do for everyone? And this works in business also. In fact, the business mantra is that when you're able to do more for more people, then automatically the flow comes towards you. If you're serving the more people, then automatically you'll get what you need. You don't have to worry about it. So when you translate that, when you transfer your giving to Krishna, who is the source of everything, and he's everywhere. Krishna is everywhere and he knows everything. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishani chabhutani mam chaveda mam tu veda nakashchana. Krishna says that I know everything. That's remarkable. I know everything that has happened in the past, that's going on now, and is going to go on in the future. But me, nobody knows. Except for somebody who's in Vasudeva consciousness. Sattvam Vishudam Vasudeva Shabditam. And the person who realizes this, that all I have to do is give my consciousness to Krishna, then everything else will come automatically. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. What a sweet verse. Listen. Ananya Cheta. It means just give your whole consciousness to me. Always. What a relief. Isn't it? Krishna's beautiful. He's all attractive. And he's everything. And he's the supplier of all living entities. Why not just think of him? Ananya, without any other obligation or motivation, just think of me. Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarati Nitishaha. Just always think of me, remember me, transfer your consciousness to me. That's your only job. Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. Then I'm easy to obtain. I'll just give myself to you if that's what you do. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about other things. Ma Suchaha. And then he says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabdiyuktanam Yogakshemam Bahamyaham. To a person who's doing this, they're giving to Krishna everything, which means their consciousness. I give myself. I'll divert my consciousness to Krishna and nowhere else. And then he says, for that person, yogakshemam bahamyaham. I personally carry what you lack and preserve what you have. That's much easier than going to the store. It's such a troublesome thing. I haven't been in the store in a long time. And last night, I happened to walk in one. And I walked right back out again because I felt a little out of place. But I just realized that's dysfunctional, I know. But there is a way in which I just realized that there's a whole world of hustle and bustle out there that is unappealing at a certain point, unappealing. And Krishna, if we give our consciousness to Krishna, we won't be disappointed. We won't be disappointed because he's everything. He's everywhere, and he's all attractive, and he's a person, and he's purnam. He's complete. He can supply what our heart desires. This is description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, abhishtadoham. It means he fulfills the innermost desire of the soul. Abhishtadoham. And how do you get that? Deyam sada paribhavagnam abhishtadoham. It means just always remember his lotus feet and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What an occupation. That's an occupation. And I loved what Kalakanta Prabhu said. He said that we're showing, our program is to show that the best career move is to become a saint. It's a legitimate career choice, he said. Legitimate career choice is to become a saint. Who's going to try to stop you? Your parents, your friends. I remember when devotees used to join. When I first joined the Krishna consciousness movement, I moved in the temple, lock, stock, and barrel. I wasn't going anywhere else. And my friends came. My friends came to see if I'd, have been kidnapped or something. It's like, and I made them dance in the kirtans. Get in there, dance. And they didn't come back. But they thought they thought I was out of my head. And I kind of was for Krishna, because I couldn't believe my good fortune. But, if you want to do that, a lot of people will say, wow, that's crazy. You're crazy. Raghunath Das's parents were devotees. They were good people. They were very, benevolent benefactors of society and so forth. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said they were they were attracted to just the mundane life. He didn't think very highly of them compared to what Raghunath Das, the kind of life he was after. He was from such a wealthy, a billionaire family, and he said, forget it. I'm out of here. I'm going to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Abhishtadoham. He saw his heart's desire there. And when you see that, everything else becomes useless. It's insignificant. Tyaktvaturnam ashesha mandalapati shainam sadat. Tuchavat means that it just becomes discardable. When there's a higher calling. Krishna is calling us. Krishna is calling us. That's the Bhagavad Gita. It's calling. And Srimad Bhagavatam is calling to us. And Krishna calls all the living entities by his flute song. And it's represented there within the books. So be careful. That's the admonition of some of the gopis. They say, don't go down there to Keshi Ghat. Don't go there. Rupa Goswami says. If you see him, you're finished. You won't be able to go back to your regular life. You'll be smitten. And that's what we want. That's why we come worship Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan. They represent this transfer out of the material world. If you become attracted to Radha and Krishna, Radha Madan Mohan, they're the ones that take you beyond the attraction to the material world. What you thought was attractive in the material world is just a reflection. It's just a reflection. It's not the real thing. But when you see the real thing and you realize, oh, that is the real thing. That's the real attraction. Trisha.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. To that point, Prabhu, this point comes to the mind that Lord Krishna says in Bhagavatam that if I'm really merciful to someone, I take away his wealth. So really worshipping Krishna is not a very, it's somewhat a risky thing actually.
It's risky, yeah. It's gambling. It's gambling, but it's really good gambling. It's exciting. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I just to add to what Mataji said about people reluctant to take gifts. Yeah. And what they feel is that any time I take a gift, I have to return it back. And if I am not in a position, I might have to take another life to return the gift. And I don't want to take another life. I don't want to take birth again in this world. So I want to go back to the Godhead. So I don't want to receive any gifts. So I don't have to take a birth again to return that gift in next life.
That's a lot of calculation. I mean, that's a lot of calculation. And it's not true either. It's not true. If you're taking from someone on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's the idea. If you take on behalf of yourself, then you're karmically bound. Anything you keep for yourself, Prabhupada used to tell us, don't keep a farthing of what you collect. And he also was very careful to make sure that the devotees were using whatever resources they got in Krishna's service very carefully. Like in Mayapur, when the project was just being built, sometimes people leave lights on. And Prabhupada would chastise the devotees who left the lights on, saying, listen, there's devotees in America collecting the money for this, and you're wasting it. They're giving their whole life collecting this money, and you're just wasting it. It's Krishna's energy. Don't waste it. The devotee is very conscious of that. And also, anyone who's taking on behalf of Krishna has to be very careful not to keep it themselves. If you work at a bank, they have these little cameras all the time. They're pointed at the cash register and at your hands and your face and everything. And if you keep $1, you're fired. You're finished. And you'll never work again anywhere. $1, 1 penny, you can't keep it. It's not yours. And it's the same thing. If I try to accept something from someone and I think, oh, that's mine, you'll go to jail. In your mind, you'll go to jail. You'll be bound up by that attachment. On the other hand, if you think everything belongs to Krishna, I'm a dedicated servant, then you're free. You don't have to touch it. When the devotees go on Sankirtan and they collect all this money, they don't think for a second, I'm going to keep this. They're thinking, how fast can I turn it in? How fast can I turn it over, to the BBT so we can print more books? This is the idea. This is no point at which it touches my hand, and in that interim time, I think, oh, this is mine. That's Maya. So everything, and if somebody gets praise, the devotees are careful. Of course, there's a way in which devotees try to deflect praise. You'll notice that there's kind of an art that someone says, "You're such a this" or something, and I am just a worm in the stool, It's not me, it's you. It's all the devotees. Even Lord Chaitanya talked like this. When people would come and praise him, he'd say, it's not me. It's coming from Ramananda Roy. It's coming from Haridas Thakur. It's coming from Sarvabhaumacharya. Anything I know about Krishna, they taught me. Yes.
Maharaj, you were talking about the bank example, and something just struck me because of the topic of the lecture, that in the banks you're also liable to be fired if there's more money with you at the end of the day or end of the week. So
really?
It's either ways, yeah. It's either ways. And I was just thinking that, you get fired because you did not give properly to the customer. You shortchanged them.
A subtlety. Nice. Not too much, not too little. Do your duty dutifully. Don't be a results monger. Nice. SKP.
Well, I just reminded like Trisha Prabhu told that example. Like Atma Tattva Prabhu in his Lilamrut, he told Prabhupada in Toronto sometime So one businessman went to Srila Prabhupada and asked Prabhupada, I have wealth in this place, I have bank balance, and but I am not getting sleep in night time. And Prabhupada said, I have a solution for you. Said, give everything to me. And he said, no, Prabhupada, I am fine. I know you, I'll come back again, don't worry. No, Prabhupada insisted, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, you take his contact. You go to him, and so Prabhupada said,
you have to be careful around someone who has no more vested interest in the material world, because they're not afraid. They have the power and the moral right to actually tell you. Because if somebody's keeping something themselves, they don't have the right to tell you, give up everything. What does it mean? But if someone is actually in their heart, they've already dedicated everything to Krishna, they're not touching it, then they have this intense power. There's an intense heat that comes from it. There's a story about Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj and how people used to come to him to try to get status. Like, let me be around you. I went and I hung out with the Babaji. It's like, and it looks good when you go back to Calcutta. And some people would come and they say, what can I do for you, Maharaj? Thinking, one rich man came, and he thought, I have everything in the world now. What else can I have? A little status on the spiritual side. I'll get that in Mayapur. I'll just go see the Maharaj. And so he went out there thinking, I'll take care of this. What can he need? A little house or something? That's no problem. Have my servant take care of it. We'll just write a check. So he went out there and he said, so Maharaj, what can I do for you? And he looked right through him. The Maharaj looked right through him and he said, you stay here and don't go back to Calcutta. Stay here with me and chant. Don't go back. And immediately he ran away. Because it was disingenuous. But Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj had that power because it comes from the core of one's heart. Somebody who's made the decision in their heart. Even if they're still working in the world, if they've already disentangled themselves internally, they're not attached. They really are have dedicated everything to Krishna, wholesale. Then they have now that ability to bring it to others. And it's very dangerous to be around people like that because they could say anything. And then you have to do it or not. And that's the danger. And if you don't do it, then you're exposed. Right? Malini.
Prabhuji, when you said about this, to give your consciousness to Krishna, and about the verse Abhishta Doham, that if you remember the lotus feet of Krishna, then your innermost desires are fulfilled. So today, I wanted to relate a story that happened today. We went for book distribution, and in the morning I was rushing in the morning because we had a call in the morning. Then we have to cook, clean, and I didn't finish everything. But still, I was thinking, I just want to go, for book distribution, and then. Finally, we went. Yesterday, we had an experience where it was very purifying. We couldn't distribute sets. So we went, before we went to the first house, Gita Priya and Advaita, they were wearing, one is wearing lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, and other is wearing lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So before we started, we said, you pray to Krishna and you pray to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, that we distribute this CC set. And they both sincerely prayed. And then we went to the very first house, and they took a Chaitanya Charitamrita set.
Haribol!
And we were very happy. And then we came out, and then we told them again, okay, now you pray again. You pray again to the lotus feet of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. And then we went to the very next house, and they took a Chaitanya Charitamrita. Unfortunately, we ran out. Otherwise, we would have gone.
Okay, I'm taking them out tomorrow. You can lend them out to all the devotees.
It was a purifying experience. One more realization from yesterday, Prabhuji. You were saying about how the modes of nature are acting strong, and then how it will prevent us from going for Krishna. we went to somebody's house and we convinced them to take a CC set for almost half an hour, 45 minutes. And then he said, he was saying himself, I really want to take, but maybe, Krishna doesn't want me to take. And then, and then I told him, no, Krishna definitely wants you to take. But you want to take, so what is preventing you? And then I said, that's Maya, that's around us, the modes of nature, that are preventing. And then he thought for some time. And then he was disappointed that his wife gave away his Bhagavad Gita to somebody else. And then we finally pacified him. I said, okay, don't take CC set, but you can have your Bhagavad Gita back. And then he was a little satisfied. But when we said that it is Maya which is not allowing you to take the book, he was actually... there was little change of heart. He just gave a donation. But it was so profound to see how he wants to take, Krishna wants to give, but the Maya doesn't want to.
This is very important because going out and giving people in a mood of unmotivated service, to give them a spiritual benefit by distributing books, you get to see for yourself how we're all affected, how people are affected by various conditions, how they can't take, or how they become affected by mental conditions and so forth. And it's purifying, isn't it, as you said, to actually note that. And it reflects back, and then you can see it in your own life. How do I apply this? How I'm, like Krishna's approaching me, and I may be doing the same thing. He's saying, okay, you surrender, do more service or whatever, and then it's like, well, okay, I'll do it. Like people say, well, I'll come later. I'll come to the temple. I'll do it on the internet. No, just do it now. Why not now? Yes, giving and taking. The flow of giving, the flow of taking. Yes.
Sometimes it becomes very positive. Like when we give this year, next year we go. Like last time, 1 weekend before we went Sankirtan. And one Mataji, before I knocked the door, she opened the door. And she saw me window. She said, I know you guys will come in. Let's come in. And I asked, how come I saw you in the window. Last year you came and again you are coming. So this time what you got for me? I said, and she took Chaitanya Charitamrita. And she... this... Like it's one Bhagavad Gita, maybe next time they'll take Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's like purifying their heart.
This is an adjunct point to what you're making. Gopal Bhatta Prabhu told me about fundraising, which has to do with giving and taking and so on. He said in many studies that he's read, or at least a study, he quoted me, in which many people were involved, and it was an intensive study about how people react to fundraising on different levels. And he said the study showed that when people give, when they start giving, then they tend to give more and more frequently. It's sometimes people think like if you ask and people give, then once they give a certain amount, now they're finished. But actually, it's the opposite. Once they get in the habit of giving, they feel something. They feel that flow of giving, and people feel more complete by giving, and they want to have that experience more. Someone who actually gives up what they have, and they give it for a good cause, then they suddenly feel more whole than they were before. This is amazing, actually. This is a great secret to Krishna consciousness and to spiritual life in general, that we are givers. And the more we do that, the more we have that experience, the more we want to taste it. And the ultimate taste is giving everything to Krishna. And because the reciprocation is unlimited. So we're practicing all those things. So in the fundraising, when they would ask and they would give more, then the next time there would be more people wanting to give and the other people would give more than they gave before. It wasn't that it all dried up because you exhausted the pool. So that capacity to give increases as we give more. And it's true in our own lives in Krishna consciousness. As we practice this giving art, giving our heart to Krishna, dedicating our wealth, our intelligence, whatever else we have to Krishna, then we'll find that actually we gain. We become more whole. We become wealthier. Yeah. Srivas, were you going to say something? Okay. Okay, just the last call if you want to text in at 650-245-7018. That is 650-245-7018 for texting in questions or comment. Now we're going to have... Yes? Yes, a comment.
I was just making an observation that sometimes we read about, how much should you give, and it says you should give as much as it, till it hurts you. Give as much as it hurts. And then also on giving is that much better than giving something to somebody that he needs. Like, Vaisesika Prabhu needs an iPad and I give it to him. Much better than that is that I needed something and I give it to him. That's at a higher level. And because the pinch and the hurt will be there. And all this is happening in the material plane, but I'm just thinking that when it comes to giving transcendental information, look at the joy that Malini was having and SKP Prabhu were having when they were describing how happy they were about giving a Chaitanya Chitamatsat to somebody. So transcendental giving is so much more joyful. That will never hurt.
Yeah. What's that?
I was just saying that it's not very easy to go to that level of feeling happiness because in Mayapur, when we were talking about book distribution, Malini mentioned one point how it's the highest form of austerity. Like it's not that it's really Krishna's blessing and their enthusiasm to go out and give. It's really a higher level of austerity where we have to develop a different type of taste, transcendental taste, to even have that as a goal to go and give it to others. So I'm just saying that it doesn't come like that for everyone, but it's a privilege. It's not like anyone can get it. So I just felt that to get that level of taste.
I've seen a lot of newcomers who don't know anything about it. It's their first time. Get really intoxicated by the experience. Like when we were in Chicago, 92 devotees came out, and about 85% of them were going out for the first time for book distribution. And they all tried it, and they were fortified enough so that they would know what to do and to not become disturbed by it. And also we didn't put any pressure on them. We just told them it was an experiment to see if we could all get from one place to the next and then try it. And we also said there's no expectation. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. You can just try it if you like. And there's no result that we're looking for. And when we came back, everyone had done something. Everyone had tried it. And we had devotees who had gone out for the first time. Some of them were in tears, expressing how wonderful it was to offer transcendental knowledge to somebody else and have them respond in such a way like I was looking for this and so forth. And I found that, I find in general, it's such an immediate experience that people can really feel it right away when they go out because they're right in the middle of the internal energy and they can experience it for themselves, that something profound is happening here. Maybe over the long term when the mind gets involved, or there are other kinds of circumstances, because I do find sometimes devotees who in the past have had distributed books under other circumstances where they were, expected to perform or they were competing at a high level and they didn't feel like they could do it, and then they have this hesitancy within them. That's like, oh, I did that in the past. And they'll appreciate that you're doing it, but they don't really want to try it themselves again. A lot of times they'll be hesitant. But new people, if they start off in the right way, that there's no expectation, just go out for the sake of purification and just be there and go with other people and have a good experience. And you'll learn from it. I find that very quickly they get a taste for it and then they'll come back. So it's important how we set up the service for people. If we put them into a situation where they might be traumatized, then it might be difficult. What do you think of that? You buying that?
Yes, that's true. I really understand the exact points that you said, Prabhu. But one more question that I have is that sustained happiness, that sustained eagerness, that sustained enthusiasm, that's the key point. Like I went last week. I really didn't have even a thought about going this week because I already did it. So, like someone to have a taste for any type of service, to consciously thinking that yes, I want to do it, that type of attraction. Unless we have that, we may give one time, but we may not give continuously. So, what is it that?
Well, sometimes it has to do with the interval. Partly, I mean, if the interval's too far away, if they're too much separated, one from the next, then you can get, your mind can get involved, and you start thinking, oh, it's hard to go out, and, I'd rather do something else, right? It could be like that with a lot of different kinds of things. But if you, like with exercise, just to give an example with momentum, if you exercise every day and you start feeling healthy from doing it, then you'll tend to keep doing it. But if you take a break and then you'll start, well, wasn't that important anyway, or maybe I'll start again next month, or I'll start tomorrow or something. So I see with a service like book distribution, when you have there's more frequency and you're in that fire, so to speak, you tend to stay in it more. And if you take a long break, then you can get mental and so forth. Or if you have a taste, you might get mental because you want to go back and do it again. But I think interval is one thing. And I don't know, Nirkula, what do you think?
What you said.
I know. I was someone. This happened the other day. Oh, I was Madhukari. We were on the parikram, and he ended up. We had a long parikram that day in Mayapur, and he ended up leading the kirtan for about 2 hours straight without stopping. And when we came back, somebody said, that was amazing. You kept leading for 2 hours while we were walking on the boat and getting out of the boat and everything like that. And it's like, well, how did you do that? And he said, well, nobody told me to stop. And I thought, that's a great answer, because sometimes people ask me, how have you been doing book distribution for 40 years? And I thought, I'll just say what Madhukari said. Nobody told me to stop. So even though no one's telling us to stop the class, it's 5:45. So now let's have an artik, and we can put away all the Shastra deities with gratitude that we've had their association, put away all the asanas, and we get a chance to stand up after this 4-hour stretch of hearing and chanting here in this temple room, which we'll only be in for another small amount of time. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Gaur Premanande Haribo.
Hey, how are you?
Da. Krishna Prestaya Utale Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Reshatarine Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Raruti Koshoba Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Raruti Koshoba Jagamanaloba. Get Ramananda. Ramananda Saka. Get Ramananda Saka. Jagajana Manaloba. Jagajana Gaurangera Rotik Shobha Jagajanamana Lobha Gaurangera Rotiko Shobha Jagajanamana Lobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Sai Gaur Hari Bol Hare 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 Krishna Nitai Gauraribo Haribo Haribo Tai Gauraribo Nitai Chan Bamega Dadhara Nikate Advaita Shini Vaschatradara Nikate Advaita Shini Vaschatradara Você Ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasane Você Ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasane Arati Korina Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Korina Brahma Adi Devagane Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulaya Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulaya Goshari Gaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Goshadhi Gaya Shankha baje kandha baje baje karatala Shankha baje kandha baje baje karatala Madhura mridanga bhaje Paramarasala Madhura mridanga bhaje Paramarasala madhur 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 bhaje. Madhur 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 bhaje. Shankha baje, kanta baje, madhur 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 baje. Shankha baje, kanta baje, madhur 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 baje. Madhur 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 baje. Madhur 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 baje. Hari bol sai gaur hari bol. Hari bol sai gaur hari bol. Saho koti chandra jinne vadana ujala. Baho koti chandra dini vadana ujala. Deshe Vanamala Kore Jhalamala Galadeshe Vanamala Kore Jhalamala Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada Shiva Shuka Hey Narado Preme Gada Gada Dino dhadeke Karara sampara Bakati dino dhadeke Karara sampara Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Nare Nagare Nitai Niche Gaire Nare Nagare Nitai Niche Gaire Nare Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Nare Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Nare Nagare Nitai Niche Gaire Nare Nagare Nitai Niche Gaire Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bo, Sai Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotarashta Shishimad Abhaya Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotarashta Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavindi ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem's Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokupinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki Shri Jagannath Puri ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. Go Premanande.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Lada Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shilatankana Kalaye. Shilatankana Kalaye. Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha. Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Bahi Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha. Bahi Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha. ते तव कर कमल वारे नाकाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवदीता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर अद्भुत श्रृंगार जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय 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 गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे नरसिंहदेव भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि शिल प्रहलाद महाराज की शिल प्रभुपाद की गुरु महाराज की समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की निताई गौर गौर प्रेमानंदे
श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन जी की जय, श्रीमान महाप्रभु की जय, श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव की जय. Hare Krishna, we welcome everyone to the Sunday Feast program at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. It's a very exciting time of the year. Many things happening here at ISV. One of them is that we are going to soon move to the new temple. More details about that will come later on from, I guess, from Hansapriya Mataji. But also we are eagerly anticipating one of our biggest festival of the year, which is Sri Gaura Purnima, later this month in March, on March 27th. 26th? Okay. 26. This is actually the 527th appearance anniversary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the English calendar, his appearance was in the year 1486. That's what Srila Prabhupada writes in the introduction to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, lot of activities, lot of service opportunities. So, we invite and welcome everyone to join us in the festival of the Gaur Purnima. Mahaprabhu has given us this simple method of how by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can purify our hearts, become pure devotees of Lord Krishna. That's the purpose of his advent, to teach us all how to become very nice devotees of the Lord. This is what he has shown us by his example, and that's what we are here for, practicing those principles based on the authentic principles of the Shastras. So we organize 3 meetings every week, regular meetings on Sundays like today, like Sunday feast. We have Wednesday night Bhagavad Gita class, and we have Srimad Bhagavatam class on Saturday mornings. The purpose of all these gatherings is to give everybody a chance to hear about the glories of the Lord. And when we come together and do it as a congregation, the effect of that process of hearing and chanting multiplies. The more, the better. So we invite everyone to please come regularly and take advantage of the association here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. We'd like to especially welcome our newcomers, those who are coming to the temple for the first time. If you're here for the first time, if you could raise your hands, we'll pass a microphone, and you could kindly introduce yourselves. Nobody for the first time? Oh, here we have one. Please tell us your name, how you heard about us, and how do you like it here?
Okay, I am Aditi and I'm from Folsom.
Folsom? Wow.
Yeah, so I keep on going to ISKCON Berkeley and ISKCON at Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
And I heard from Sudeep Prabhu.
Oh, from our friend Sudeep Prabhu.
Yeah.
So you decided to come here today?
Yeah, like I was here in Bay Area for a day, and then
okay.
And I'm enrolled in Bhakti Shastri course. So.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yes.
Very good. Is anybody else here for the first time? Okay, if not, we'd like to welcome all our second, third, fourth, 100th, 1000th timers. It's really nice to see everybody here today. We'd like to thank His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu for bringing us tonight's Krishna Katha. It was a very nice... It was a very nice discourse, mainly focused on the principle of giving in relation to spiritual life. There were many very nice points made during the lecture, and it was also nice and interactive. And we also got to hear some of the practical realizations from our Sankirtan leaders while distributing Chaitanya Charitamrita sets this weekend. Tonight's cooks are Ananda Vrindavan Mataji, Padma Mataji. There's one more Mataji in the kitchen, I saw. Sundari Leela Mataji, yes. And thank you. And I do not see a sponsor for tonight. Is that right? Do we have a sponsor for tonight? No. Okay. So all the Sunday feast sponsors.
And also Vrindavan Prabhu helped in all cooking. So we want.
No, I just chucked. The Sunday feast is brought to us regularly with the help of the sponsorships. Somebody or the other comes forward to sponsor the feast. It's only $301. If any one of you would like to come forward and sponsor tonight's feast, that will be nice. This Hari Sankirtan Prabhu, Hari Bol. Did we already announce the appearance of your second? Through the email. Oh, we need to do it more personal. So we are happy to welcome another devotee in our congregation. That's Krishna Priya, little Krishna Priya, and maybe Hari Sankirtan Prabhu can say a few words.
Thank you for all your wishes. She's just 11 days old today. So
Hari Bol.
Hope she goes to a very good devotee in her association. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Is anybody celebrating a birthday or a wedding anniversary or anything auspicious today or in this week? What? Who bought a new car? Oh, if then talk to us. You can get a Chaitanya Charitamrita set from Krishna Purushottam Prabhu. Okay. Then I guess Hansapriya Mataji has something to announce.
Actually, I pass it on to Vaisesika Prabhu to let us know about the temple move status, so he can fill us in more about our move.
Okay.
Guess what, everyone? We're moving. Hey! But we're going to be really nostalgic for this old place. And to that end, we're having a gigantic blowout bash here at 951 South Bascom for Gaur Purnima, right in this place. And the reason is that we feel so bad about leaving. Yeah, right? Retinol, you feel that way. She does. That we want to give it one last thing and see if we can actually get kicked out rather than leave. So we're going to have, the kirtans are going to be so loud, and we're going to be spread out all across the parking lot to see if we can't get the state troopers to come and all the neighbors to complain and say, you guys got to leave. And we'll go, okay. The new temple is beautiful. It's a jewel. And the devotees who are going over there and looking at it are just hankering to see Shishirada Madan Mohan installed there. And that jewel-like box around them will satisfy our hearts finally to see that we've installed them in a place where we can properly worship them and have enough room for all the devotees. There is a kitchen that is world class. It's the envy of Silicon Valley. There will be classrooms that are soundproof for the children. There are several bathrooms right in the front. There'll be a gift shop. The floors are all redone. The paint's on. Everything's going along. One thing is that construction, as many of you know, moves at its own pace much due to the permit process. Because we're doing everything by the letter, we're not just going in there and cutting things up and doing whatever we want. Everything's being done according to permit. We have to do it that way. Otherwise, we can't have big assemblies there, and we can't serve out all kinds of food from a commercial kitchen, which is what we're doing. So the health department has to sign off, the city department has to sign off and everything, and we're not sure when they are going to do that. So until they sign off, we can't finish all the last construction and everything we need. And the main consideration among the council members about deciding where we were going to have Gaur Purnima was the comfort of the deities. We were pushing up until this afternoon saying, we got to get in. And then we realized if we put the deities in there when there's construction still going on and there's dust still flying and there's paint smell and there's gates being built around them, it will not be nice for them. And also we didn't know which day the health department is actually going to sign off. So we decided that we're going to have this is an indication. One last big Gaur Purnima here. After that, we have to move. We can't. Our lease is up. We're finished. We have to go out of here. So there was a huge cleanup this weekend. Things are in order, ready to move. The plan is in place. We're waiting for certain other agencies to sign off on what we're doing. Hare Krishna, Prashant. And to finish up the last parts of construction. So that we can move the deities in there gloriously, do the right ceremony, and that will be coming up the weekend after, the weekend of the 6th, right in the beginning of spring. They're going to come in there and we'll have a installation ceremony to bring the deities and show them around the new place, and everyone can dance for joy in the new temple room. So Gaur Purnima, right here. Bring all your friends. Tell everyone in the whole city it's on, and we'll have a gigantic feast. We're going to spread out through the whole parking like we usually do. And we are leaving this place in very good terms with our landlord, although we've had sort of a funny relationship with Nick and the whole legalized marijuana program over there for a long time. There's a way in which he feels very grateful. He says, I feel very grateful to have had you very spiritual people here for so many years. So we're also going to have get him in here and give him some special prashad and make sure he gets darshan before we go, and that we'll appreciate him as we're leaving. So this is sort of it's a big deal. It's a nice way to leave ISKCON Silicon Valley here at 951 South Bascom, with the last big Gaur Purnima and a send-off to all our neighbors and everything like that. Gaur Premanande Haribol.
So Gaur Purnima is next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday, the 26th. It's going to be all-day program. Program begins with 4:30 a.m. with the Mangala Arti. We're very happy once again that we have His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu here throughout the day and going to be sharing the all-day nectar of Lord Chaitanya. So please plan to take days off if you're planning to. Let's take advantage of this hearing and chanting and in association of all the devotees. So, and then we're going to have a nice evening program with Abhishek and the festival outside. So please plan to be here early if you're going to be, if you want to be here for the Abhishek time. Okay, so beside the festival, I wanted to talk about the festival we had yesterday. I wanted to acknowledge so many devotees who came in yesterday and helped us out throughout the day, non-stop service. And actually, it was a really beautiful festival because I knew many devotees by faces. But like Suresh Prabhu, please, can you raise your hand, Prabhu? Suresh Prabhu, we have seen him many times, but yesterday I got a chance to closely spend some time with him. And he has this amazing talent and amazing devotion that he did non-stop service throughout the day and very contagious. And it was very empowering to be in association. So we have so many jewels like Suresh Prabhu and even Prabhuji here also. Narendra Prabhu. It's so many sweet devotees we have. And Dilip Bhai Prabhu's wife Hemuben drove from Pacifica all the way to come help us out. He brought his daughter. He sent his daughter as well, and he called and said, "Do you guys need a pickup truck?" So it was such a sweet overjoying was flowing here. So thank you very much for spending all your day yesterday. It was really blissful. Thank you very much for being here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Haribol. And Hansapriya Mataji was the main coordinator.
Actually, Hari Sankirtan Prabhu and Ramananda Prabhu. Without them, we could not have done anything. So thank you very much.
It was very. It was really nice actually, cleaning the temple and all parts of it. So, anything else for tonight? Sankirtan leaders, anything to say or mention?
Hare Krishna. Everybody came to class, we shared all the nectar. But we have this Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Gaur Purnima is coming up. And whoever takes Bhagavatam sets on Paurnami, they'll go back to Godhead. That's there in Srimad Bhagavatam first canto. So BBT Los Angeles got 600 Bhagavatam sets. It's big Bhagavatams. You can see here in my hand. I'll give it to this guy's Vaisesika Prabhu to show. And this Bhagavatam sets is just, we need to find out the new price. So we'll get to know tomorrow. And we'll take the orders today, and because we need $2,200 more to go for the goal. So you can see the pictures as Prabhu is showing. And it's wonderful. Like last weekend itself, we distributed more than 4 sets, big sets of Bhagavatam, all done by Vaisesika Prabhu. Some people came into the temple and he spoke, and 1 Bhagavatam gone. So, and this Bhagavatam is so sweet, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are sure, we don't know that BBT will give more because they gave 26 sets. And I think, Prabhu, you want to say something about Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, take all these sets of Bhagavatams. We have, how many do we have here?
You can get as many as you like.
As many as you like. Take the Bhagavatam and distribute it to all your friends. Get them tonight, because then you'll have that ready. You can ship them off on the full moon day, according to the Kurma Purana. Is it the Kurma Purana? That says that when you give away a set of Srimad Bhagavatams on a full moon day, you get the great gift of going back home, back to Godhead. This is in Shastra. So if you have the Bhagavatam, then get it and give it to somebody else. It'll make a huge impact on their life. And if you don't have it, get it for yourself and have these Bhagavatams in your home. They're the most precious gift that you can have. How much are they? That's all? Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm going to announce that. All right. 220 only for the full set of Srimad Bhagavatam, for the full set. So you can come forward and take your Bhagavatam sets. We'll have them ready for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next will be Prasadam. But before that, we also like to request a few volunteers to help clean the temple after the Prasadam. If any one of you would like to volunteer for about half an hour or 45 minutes after the Prasadam to help us clean, could raise your hand at this time. We can take 4 of there, Prabhuji at the back. 4 or 5, 4 more. Anybody else would like to help clean the temple? Okay, you can still make up your mind while during having Prasadam. So we'll sing Prasadam prayers all together.
Jibe pele vishaya shagare dharma jivayati loba moy sudhumati take jeta katita samsare Krishna bodhoyamo Koribare jihaja Shaprasadana diloba Shayanamrita pao Radha Krishna gunagao Preme dako Shri Chaitanya nita Ekadina Shanti Pure Prabhu Aditera Ghare Tui Prabhu Bojani Bosilo Shakuri Aswadana Prabhu Bole Bhakta Gana Esha Krishna Aswadhilo Heno Shakashwadane Krishna Prema Aishe Mane She Preme Koro Ashwadane Jadabudi parihari prasara bhojana kori Hari Hari bolo sarvaja Paire Sachirangani Kabhu Madhavendra Puri Prabhu Prasadana Korina Bhojan Kaite Kaite Tara Alo Prema Sudurba Bole Shuno Sanyasi Ragan Mocha Ganta Pula Bhari Dali Dalna Chachari Sachi Mata Kori Lorandan Tara Shudha Bhakti Hari Bhojana Kori Lohari Sudha Sama Eyanam Yanjan Jogi Jogi Pai Jaha Boge Ajha Betaha Hari Boli Kao Sabe Bai Krishnera Prasadana Sri Jagat Kori Dhanya Tripurari Nache Jahapai Tripurari Nache Jahapai Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Sapa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwaso Navajayate Prasade Savadukanam Hani Rasyo Pajayate Prasana Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Bhayavatistate Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasade Ki Go Premanande. Starting with the third prayer down. Barhabhidam Natavaravaphu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibradvasa Kanata Kapisham Vaijayantim Shamalam Randran Venur Adara Sudaya Punayan Gopa Vrindar Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti Tava Katam Vritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimaratatam Bhuvigranantiye Burijajana Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Kala Pato Jani Brajita Sadbhakta Valiham Sachakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspadam Karnanandi Kaladvaneva Hatume Jiva Maru Prangane Shri Chaitanya Dayanide Kabalasa Lila Sudha Swajuni Elandu Nitakiraya Vishadaya Pranilada Modaya Shamya Shastra Vivadaya Rasadaya Chitta Pito Madaya Shashvat Bhakti Vinodaya Samadaya Madhurya Maya Daya Shri Chaitanya Dayanide Tavadaya Guyada. One more time. Shri Chaitanya Dayanide Tavadaya Bhuyaramando Daya Gopremanande. Govinda Charan Prabhu ordered 11 CC sets he needs before this Saturday. It's not a misprint, it's for real.
Hare Krishna.
Speech.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
so,
Krishna.
I was very inspired by Shri Krishna Purushottam Prabhu. He was giving the idea, asking our Bhakti Vriksha members. And you are telling about that talk on giving. It's very hard for me to ask for Lakshmi. And I was very inspired by Ramananda Saka Prabhu's example where he sponsored for others. And by doing that, he ended up distributing more books because he sponsored 3 sets, and then he obliged those people to sponsor in turn. So I thought that's a good way of distributing. So we want your help and guidance to inspire others to distribute these books, Prabhu.
So from what I understand, Govinda Charan Prabhu has just sponsored 11 sets that he's going to pass forward to others. And the Bhakti Vriksha, but what would be a good idea would be for others to match those. Right?
Right, yes, Prabhu.
So now, can we get CC sets? We're going to get them, right? Okay. So we're going. Those CC sets are only $99 for the whole set. So this is a very unusual offer. That the whole set of CCs. Can I have a look at one? Oh, here they are. This is the full set of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the most rare book in the world. This book was brought to light by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It was written in the time just after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and made the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees come to life. For some time it had been lost in obscurity, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought this back to life. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya of ISKCON, translated the whole thing, had it brilliantly illustrated, included the Bengali, and then wanted it distributed all over the world. Practically, it's a garland of Praman verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the greatest scholar of our time, had studied the Chaitanya Charitamrita over and over again and told everyone that this is the most brilliant and advanced spiritual book anywhere in the universe, that if all other books ended up in the ocean and this was the only book left, no loss. That's a powerful statement from such an advanced Acharya and spiritual luminary. So we recommend that for $99, others pass this on for Gaur Purnima to others, their friends. Govinda Charan Prabhu has just sponsored 11 sets. So if anybody else would like to pass those forward and also sponsor sets, I think it's a good time, don't you? SKP does. It's a new year, so it's a new time. Well, I'd like to sponsor one. Because I'm inspired by Govinda Charan, and Vrindavan's hand is coming up. I think you're covered back here, Vrindavan. I don't want to miss out on it, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Lavanya Mataji.
Lavanya Mataji, Hare Krishna. A little more. She just sponsored a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. We may personally fly SKP over to pick them up. Okay, anyone else that wants a set of CCs, just raise your hand, or you can come see us afterwards if you want to do it quietly, do it the easy way, and we'll accommodate you. This temple is based on distributing spiritual knowledge. These books are still the most viable technology in the world for passing on knowledge and information. They last for centuries. The kind of paper that's being used nowadays, acid-free paper, can last up to 1,000 years. It's actually even more than the original palm leaves that things were etched on and so forth that fall apart. So these books are substantial and longer than an iPad will last. Yeah, those usually last about a year, and then you have to get a new one when the new one comes out, right? Yes, Malini. Malini would like to sponsor one. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, we're counting down the minutes until... What's that? Sunny Kaval is sponsoring a set of Chaitanya Charitamritas. Hare Krishna. I think Vrindavan's going to sponsor a lot as soon as he gets... He's raising his hand. Vrindavan, what would you like?
I want to sponsor one.
One what?
Bhagavad Gita.
Good work. Good for you, Vrindavan. Okay. So, prasadam is going to be served in the... your grandpa and grandma?
Sundar's parents?
Yes?
They want to sponsor a Chaitanya Charitamrita set.
They would like to sponsor a set. Hare Krishna. Okay, last chance. We'll just count down one time. Gora 16, Gora 15, Gora 14, Gora 13, Gora 12, Gora 11, Gora 10, Gora 9, Gora 8, Gora 7, Gora 6. What happened? The remaining what? Oh, I don't understand. What happened?
Oh. No. He understood my matching for 11 as the matching for this group.
Yes.
So he's going to match the remaining.
The remaining. I think Lord Chaitanya sent you here.
Ramanuja Das.
Ramananda Prabhu ki jai! So how many were the remaining? Ramanuja. How many were there left?
6 left.
There were 6 left. 5 are done, so he's sponsoring 6 Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. Haribo! That puts us up to, that's 22 sets total. So the rule goes, I just have to start over one more time. Gora 16, Gora 15, Gora 14, Gora 13, Gora 12, Gora 11, Gora 10, Gora 9, Gora 8, Gora 7, Gora 6, Gora 5, Gora 4, Gora 3, Gora 2, Gora 1, Gora 0.5, Gora 0.05, Gora 0.005. Haribo! That's beautiful. Gora 3, Gora 2, Gora 1, Gora 0.5, Gora point... What happened? I would like to sponsor for my sister. Haribo! Gora 2, Gora 1, Gora 0.5, Gora 0.05, Gora 0.25, Gora 0.025, Gora I think a call came in right at the... We'll just check it. Rajesh for 1 set. Haribo! Gora point 5. Gora point 025. Gora Premanande Haribo! A little more for everybody. Please come take prasadam. So now we're going to honor the prasadam of the Lord, which will be served in the ornate picnic area. Enjoy it while you can. This will be one of the last times, one of the last opportunities. Just outside, we'll be serving prasadam. You can come back in here and make yourself at home and stay and talk to all the devotees. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to ISV, which stands for Individual, Spontaneous, and Voluntary Devotional Service. Hare Krishna!
Last week, but no need to call him on because we're going to fail anyway.
Can you move my car? Take it and you have